Alright guys, so today we're going to be doing CHING number 48. So as always, just starting in with where we left off, and I am still behind. So the first thing that I have is a cow parade figure. This was really cool. They have all these different kinds of figures that are called the cow parade. I found this at a yard sale. I believe I paid $1 for it, and it sold for $17.99. This was just so pretty and fun. I love the coloring. The next item was something by a company called Willy Ray Studio, and some of the items that are by this Willy Ray Studio can sell high. I don't come across it super often. This piece I actually had sitting on my computer desk for like the longest time before it sold. Like, it was listed, but I was using it personally as decor until it sold. So that sold for $18.99. And pretty sure that came from a yard sale as well, so I probably paid about $1 for it. I sold another vintage Reba McEntire shirt. I had picked up a bunch of vintage Reba McEntire shirts at a yard sale last year for $1 a piece, so I did sell quite a few of them, but I do still have some listed as well. So I paid $1 for that, and it sold for $28.99. Next we have a set of vintage gold coasters. These I won on an auction flat of some other stuff. So I just decided to list them, and they sold for $11.99. I don't remember what flat I purchased it from or what I paid for the flat in general. Next item was a vintage dress. This was from the 1960s. It was by a brand called Allen Green. I purchased this at a rummage sale, fill-a-bag rummage sale. So averaging out, I probably paid about $1 for it, and that sold for $28. I sold another piece that came from a fill-a-bag rummage sale. This was a pink top by a company called Talk of the Walk. It is a kind of like boutique store that is, I believe, on the Atlantic City boardwalk. This went to a subscriber, and it sold for $16.99. This was also another piece that I won at the auction, and it was a flat of basically these jewelry kind of wire organizers you can hang like your necklaces and stuff off of. I didn't mean to bid on that flat. I thought it was a different flat that was being offered, so I won this like flat of all of these jewelry organizers. I forget what I paid. I think I might have paid about $12.50 for the flat. So I did sell one. This was a pink wire one that sold for $12.99. So I at least made my money back from that flat. I don't know if I profited anything yet off of that flat. I feel like I maybe sold another one of those. I'm not sure. I can't remember. Next we have a lot of ugly doll plush stuffed animals. I purchased a bag of these at Goodwill. It was all three of those in like a clear plastic bag. I'm pretty sure I paid $1.99 for the bag, and those sold for $25.99. This next item also came from a flat at the auction that I won, and it was a Limoges trinket box. It was shaped like a lady's bust, and this was the flat that I thought was being offered when I bid on those jewelry organizers. So this was on a flat with a couple of other things, and I know I paid less than $10 for the flat, and that trinket box sold for $84. So that was a great sale. The next item was a top by Rockin' Republic. So this top came from, anyone have any guesses? The Facebook Marketplace garbage bag of clothes. So that sold for $19.99. I feel like every time I do a cha-ching, something from one of those garbage bags sold. So next we have this was by Meadowbrook Gourds, and it was a dog shaped gourd. It was made out of a gourd, a floppy eared dog gourd that sold for $19.99. I'm pretty sure that went to a subscriber, and I picked that up at a yard sale, and I'm pretty sure I paid like $1 for him. This next item I think also came from a fill-a-bag rummage sale, so about $1 into it. It was a J. Crew button-up shirt, but it is, or was, 100% silk. Very, very nice. That sold for $14.99. I sold a Mary Kay men's cologne. This was in the scent Domain. I feel like this might have been my father's. I still have some of his colognes that I need to list because unfortunately I can't hang on to every single bottle that he owned. I only really want to keep my most favorite. So this I did sell for $23.99. The next two items I think went to a subscriber. These were two vintage magnets that were shaped like cocktails. So I got like a whole baggie of these vintage cocktail magnets at Goodwill. I can't remember what I paid for them. Was it $1.99 for the baggie? Potentially. So the first one that sold, well, they both sold for a price of $9.99. The first one I had described as an iced tea drink. I don't really know exactly what it was supposed to be. And then the other one was more like desserty looking. It had whipped cream on it, and the whipped cream was actually like this like rubbery material. They were so much fun. I did sell most of all of those magnets that were in that particular bag. I think I still have a lot of two listed, but they have some issues with their straws. And then I have another one listed that I think I priced slightly higher because it's in this like container that's a little risque. So I priced that a little bit higher just because of what it looked like. Next we have a vintage horror VHS tape. So definitely horror VHS is something to look for. This one was The Last House on the Left. It sold for $9.99, so not a whole lot. Obviously, there are some vintage horror VHS tapes that will sell higher, but I just decided to pick that up. I got it at a yard sale. I probably paid about $1 for it, so not much there. The next item was an eco brew. So this was something you could use in like a Keurig coffee maker, that you could put like your own coffee in. You don't have to actually buy the little K-cups and stuff like that. I think that might have went to a subscriber. I sold that for $9.99, and I picked that up at a sale that Eric's work was doing. So I probably paid about $1 for it. Next we have a Lush Dream Journal. So this is from Lush Cosmetics. I got this in a Lush subscription box that I am subscribed to. I actually have a box behind me I need to make a video on my other channel. I wasn't happy with the last box I got, but this one that I got was really awesome. So anyway, this came from the subscription box, and it wasn't something that I ever, saw me using. And it came also with a pencil as well, and that sold for $19.99, and that did go to a subscriber. Next item we have is a set of 2 shampoos. These were by a company called Rooted Rituals. I picked these up at Walmart on secret clearance. I paid about $1 and some change for each bottle, and those sold as a lot for $25.99. This next item I did win at an auction. This was a Summit Art Glass horse on a nest. You always see the hens on the nest. I thought this one was really interesting because I never really ever came across one that look like a horse, and it was Slag glass as well, and that sold for $50.99, and I can't remember what I paid for it off the top of my head, but it was less than, I believe it was less than $20. Let's see, next we have that glass cockatoo. I won this at the auction as well. This sold for $142.50. So a great price to sell for, but I talk about issues at the end of the video, and I have a little something to talk about on that one, so we will get to that. Next item was a scrub top that had the Marie from the Aristocats all over it. That sold for $19.99, and I got that at a yard sale for $1. I don't normally pick up scrub tops and stuff like that, but if I can find them in larger sizes and more like interesting things like Disney, or like that was specifically Disney and cat related kind of thing. So this next item was another gourd dog from the Meadowbrook Gourds. I got it at the same yard sale I got the other one. This one was named Mac, so it looked slightly different than the other one, but again, I paid about $1 for it and sold it for $19.99, and I also think that went to a subscriber. Next we have, this was a set of Thomas Piccone Christmas ornaments. I got these at a yard sale. I think I paid, I want to say $3, potentially $5 for them. There was one that was missing, but unfortunately when I got it home and I was getting ready to list it, I noticed that there was another one broken, so it took me down even farther as far as how many were in the set. So I listed it really cheap. I listed it for a buy it now of $13.99. That's what it sold for. So that just goes for me, like, to just be super duper more careful about buying things, especially breakable pieces. Just to keep an eye out and make sure like there's nothing, you know, wrong with the stuff before I'm buying it. This next item was a great sale. This was another Limoges trinket box. I won this at auction, same day I won the other one. They didn't have these on the same flat. This was on a flat of vintage occupied Japan figures. It was just sitting in there amongst all these figures. So I paid for that flat less than $20. I think I maybe paid $6 for it. I can't remember exactly. Anyway, that trinket box sold for $110.50. I mean, Limoges trinket boxes are where it's at, especially if they're more unique and that kind of thing, and not just your typical floral looking trinket box. Like this one actually looked like a little cabinet or cupboard type of thing. It was definitely unique, and when I saw it I was like, wow, that's interesting. So I'm so thankful that I won that flat because that was amazing. And speaking of, the next item was the lot of those occupied Japan figures. I did list some separately, and then I was getting tired of listing things separately, so I just decided to lot them all up, and I put that up on auction and it sold for $19.99. So the next item was also something from the same auction. This was a jade elephant statue that sold for $59.99, and I think I paid about $16 and some change for that. Next thing I have is a vintage Little Miss Magic hair wand. So this was from a doll. This was like an accessory to a doll that would have been probably from the 80s or early 90s. Her name was Little Miss Magic. And this wand, like you could fill it with, if you filled it with cold water, it would leave like colored streaks in her hair, and then on the tip there, I think it was a star or a heart, it would leave like a colored heart in her hair. And surprisingly, that sold for $19.99. That belonged to me. I found that while I was cleaning out my parents' house, and I don't know what possessed me to look up that specific piece, but they were selling just these, like the hairbrush wands, so I listed that and it did sell. Next item was a lot of 2 vintage Victorian boots. These were on that flat of the Occupied Japan figures, but they were not. Alright guys, I'm sorry, my battery died on my camera, so I'm trying to figure out exactly where I left off at. I was on the set of 2 like Victorian looking boots, and I think I was saying that they were on the same flat as the Occupied Japan figures. Anyway, I sold those 2 for $12.99 for the set of 2. The next item was a Lilo and Stitch umbrella. This was brand new with tags. It was originally from Hot Topic. I got this at a yard sale and paid $2 for it, and it sold for $19.99, and that did go to a subscriber. And then the last thing that I have for this cha-ching was an Adidas belt. This was brand new with the tags, and I purchased this at a fill-a-bag rummage sale. It was definitely a great find. That sold for $32.99. So that is everything for the cha-ching, and I do have a couple of things to talk about at the end of these videos. I like to discuss any issues that I've been having lately, eBay related, or just things that I wanted to talk about. So I made mention of that cockatoo, that glass cockatoo that I sold. I made a mistake on that as far as shipping goes. The box that I ended up having to put it in, the dimensions were slightly different than what I had in my auction, as well as weight. So both the dimensions were changed, and I had to add a little bit of more weight to it. So that was my mistake. It happens. I still make those types of mistakes. I mean, they're a little more rare than what they used to be, but I still do make mistakes like that. So they paid $16.30 to ship, and it actually ended up costing me $36.03 to ship. So that was a little bit of an ouchie. I had to pay an extra $19.73 to that cost, and so I actually ended up not really profiting a ton off of that. It seemed like a really great high sale, but I did pay up for that piece at the auction, and I did have to put like $19 extra towards shipping that came out of the profit that I did make. So that was a big ouch, and I told Eric after that, I was like, I am never purchasing another like glass animal, because not only was I upset with myself as far as like the shipping went, but it took a long time to pack that up, and I was so dreadfully scared that something was gonna happen to it in shipment, and you know, the whole thing was slightly stressful. So I told him, I was like, I'm never gonna purchase another glass animal ever again. And the very next day I went to a yard sale and I bought this little glass Dalmatian animal that didn't sell yet, but it was like way tinier. But I just thought it was funny that just a day prior I was so upset about this cockatoo, and then the very next day I go and buy another glass animal. So that was a little bit of a shipping mishap on my part. Another thing that I kind of just wanted to discuss, and this actually happens kind of frequently, and it's, you know, something some people don't have a problem with, but it's something that you need to take into consideration, and I think a lot of people don't take it into consideration. But I had someone purchase something, and they asked if I could ship it to a different address than the one that was provided when they purchased the item. And some people don't have a problem doing that. But if you ship to an address that's not the same address on file of the person who, you know, purchased the item, you're not protected as a seller. So they could claim that they never got their item, and you'd be out your item and you'd be out the money because you didn't ship to that address. Like, eBay only gives you seller protection if you ship to the address that's given to you. So there are times people have asked me to ship to another address, and I am not comfortable doing that. It has nothing to do with you know, me not wanting to be helpful or something like that. Like I'd be all right with that. And like some people, you know, even if it, you know, you're a subscriber or something, like I trust you. I trust that you wouldn't, you know, try to scam me or anything. But it's just, you know, the fact that I'm not protected, and, you know, it's just eBay's rules. Like you need to ship to the address that's on file. So one of the major things, like to me, like not even it, you know, the possibility of being scammed. I'm talking like if you ship to another address, and this was an instance of this happening with an item. It was that jade elephant. That was a really super, it was a big item. It weighed a lot. It was very fragile, so it took a lot of, you know, shipping and packing involved in it. And the person that won it wanted me to ship to a different address. They actually messaged me beforehand asking if I would ship to a different address, and I said no. I said, you know, I'm not protected as a seller. I told them the whole spiel of like why I will not ship to another address other than what's on file on your eBay account. Now you could go in and change the shipping address and purchase the item and choose that shipping address. That's not a problem. But these people just want to just completely put in a different shipping address. So the thing with that was, so this person who purchased the elephant, they were purchasing it for, I think, their mother, and she lived in a different state. So had they purchased that elephant, the shipping would have been on the cheaper side because they live closer to me. But with shipping items, especially larger items, you know, you have to take in consideration the dimensions, the weight, that kind of thing. So what may cost less to ship, say to New Jersey, because New Jersey is right close to me, is not going to cost as much as if I'm shipping the same item the whole way across the United States to California. Then shipping charges get a little kind of crazy, and I feel for the people who live, you know, on opposite ends. I mean, I'm on the same spectrum where like if I'm buying something from California, I'm on the East Coast, so I'm paying a lot more for shipping. So basically he wanted to buy it using his address and the less cost of shipping, and then I would have been stuck with having to pay the shipping to California, if you get what I'm saying. I think he did say that he would pay any kind of remaining costs. You know, you can trust people to their word that they would, but at the same time, he could have not. And then, you know, I would have just been out those extra shipping costs that I would have had to pay out of pocket. So, you know, I just wasn't comfortable doing it. But he did actually win the item. He did go ahead and buy the item and put in, you know, the other address, which, like I said, you can do. It's not that hard to do, type of thing, but it's just one of those things. So you guys had to let me know if you encounter that a lot, of people wanting to ship to another address, if you've had any issues with it or anything like that. It's just something personally for me, I don't like to do it. It's not a personal thing. I don't have anything against my buyers, but I just need to make sure, you know, as a seller, that I have that protection just in case something would go wrong, or, you know, someone was, you know, potentially trying to be scammy. So that was something that had popped up, but it all ended out working out okay. And then the last thing that I really wanted to talk about was I had sold 3 things to one person. This was like a while ago, and I just got feedback from them the other day, and they left me neutrals on every single thing they bought, which was 3 things. So I have 3 neutrals that say nothing but okay, 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 okay. 3 neutrals. Now, I don't fully understand that. Sometimes I don't even know if people fully understand how leaving feedback works, or if it was an accident, if they were unhappy. Like, I have no clue. I'm just gonna let that go. Sometimes, depending on feedbacks, if I feel like they're not warranted or something like that, I will try to get them removed. But with these, like, I kind of chuckled about it, quite frankly. Like, you know, if you're not happy about something, like, just let me know. Like, were you unhappy about everything you purchased though? Like, I don't understand. I really don't get it, but whatever. They're just gonna stay there, so they'll just be in my feedbacks, my okay. Anyway, but that is everything for this cha-ching. I hope you guys enjoyed it. You'll have to let me know what you thought down below, and like I said, if you get those questions a lot from people about, you know, shipping to another address, and if you do or if you don't, why you do and why you don't, and that kind of thing. But that's just my whole thoughts about it all. So hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you next time.